Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk to a software engineer where she's going to share more about the importance of resume building and how to stand out in the sea of applicants. We're also going to dive into the power of networking and why it is an important key piece of the job search puzzle. Stay tuned and let's figure it out. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Hi, Seema. How are you? Welcome to the podcast for Let's Figure It Out. Thank you so much for taking the time today, and would love to start. By how are you today?
Hi, Jeet. I'm doing well, thank you. Day has been pretty busy, but this should be refreshing. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, Seema, just for our audience and for listeners, could you just give us a brief introduction about who you are and your where do you work?
I'm Seema Muchandi. I'm currently working as a software engineer with projects. I completed my bachelor's in engineering in India from Karnataka in information and science. Post that, I worked uh, for a startup as a software engineer there. And that was my first experience as a software engineer. That's what got me interested in this field, really. Uh, and then I decided that I want to master this skill or, learn more about it. And then thought about coming to USA where the actual tech is, the real world problems. And it's a lot of exposure here in USA. That's how I decided to come to USA to begin my journey with masters. And I completed my master's in computer science in the year 2022. And I've been working with projects since then.
Wow, that's a fascinating story. So, tell me more about your sort of like a day in life at Broadridge, and tell me more about like what you do.
Okay. I'm a software engineer in projects. Like I said, I work on the infrastructure engineering team. I'm currently working on designing and developing an automation tool for the company. It's been fun and challenging on both the ends, but because it also has a blend of back-end logic with infrastructure consideration. On to day-to-day basis, I spend a lot of time coding, writing scripts, collaborating with system engineers or SREs, system site reliability engineers and software engineers, of course. It's a dynamic role, I would say, that keeps me learning all the time. I love the mix of deep technical problem solving and cross team collaboration that it gives me.
Well, that's great. I myself am a computer engineer, but not a computer science engineer, so that's different because I personally I have no idea on how to code. So I'm in a particular role which is solution engineer, which is more like a pre-sales role. So we have to be technical, but not as technical as you guys. So what you just described is more like sort of like very fascinating for a person like me because I have never written a single code. The best code I have written is Hello Friend. So yeah,
Hello
I
world,
think
yeah.
yeah, the Hello World. So I
That's
think
that's where we all begin.
correct. So you guys actually came across to a long way, and we were just there. Uh, awesome. So, all right. So today I think we're gonna talk more about like the everyone's problem, which is job search or like how to stand out your resume. So talking more about resume building and how to get in the line of 100,000 people who are applying for the same role, right? So
Yeah.
talk to me more about your experience and your learnings on building a better resume.
Um, Before we begin building a resume, I would definitely want each individual to ask yourself, how can I benefit the team with what skills I currently have? Or, a better question would come from cle- uh, picking a clear focus and knowing what you're passionate about. If it's front end, it's back end, data, security, and AI, because computer science comes with a wide variety of range of, opportunities that are open for us. So picking something that you're really interested in will keep your focus into it, and then you are going to dive deep into it, which will, build your knowledge, of course, build your skills, which will help you land a job. So begin first by asking how I can benefit the organization with the skills I already have and how I can inculcate more knowledge from already the industry that's present, and how I can, of course, look for the job after that.
So, quick question on that. When you say that, sort of look into yourself and find what's the best skills you have, or if you have urge to learn something new, do you know any platforms where people can go and upskill themselves by learning or taking a certification?
For learning and certification, that's just endless number of websites or applications that we currently have. Google should be your best bet for now. There's Geeks for Geeks. There's just so many LinkedIn Learning. There's other platforms, HackerRanks, Lead Codes that we all do. We all know. It's more about knowing yourself, what you are interested in, and how much you like doing it. So a lot of people are inclined towards backend because they have a clear understanding of the entire code base and how things are working on the back end. Most of them are interested in front end designing or the user experience of how they are making it usable to the user or how easy they can make it for the user. What features they can include in the interface that will make the usability of the website easier. So it's just more about picking your side.
Okay, that's fair. So once you figure out like what's my first step is more like what skill I have and where should I dive into, what's the next step from there?
Okay. Your second should be highlighting your approaches to your profession and not just your qualification. That means show how you can adapt to new technologies or how you were curious about a problem or your approach to solve a problem. And you can show this in ways like you can write how you completed a course in React.js to complete a front end or to make it scalable, or how you redesign the user experience, like I just spoke about, how you can add features that can make the user for the user it's easier to navigate through the website or get the work done. So that's the major thing. Or you can also use metrics like instead of saying I worked on the backend API, you could use words and metrics like developed and optimized backend API that reduce the data retrieval time by 30%. This gives a clear picture to the person who is hiring or reading your resume, how you developed that and what you did about it, like what optimization you brought to the actual website.
That's fair. That's fair. Can you also break down in terms of like what, like say for a software engineer or kind of the roles you were applying, what are the some key factors, uh let's say a hiring manager or a company is looking for? Is it more towards like how proficient are you in coding, or is it more like the problem solving aspect?
Okay, it's a mixture of both, I would say. You definitely they are looking for somebody who is extremely good at coding because everybody wants a fast-paced learner, and we have to be as a master students, you have to be proficient with whatever languages you have chosen, and it also comes with the problem-solving skills. How you so there's like system designing and designing part of it, and how you are taking that problem and what approach you are using to solve this problem. So it's a mixture of all of these things, including the soft skills, how you are convincing the stakeholders about this is the right solution, or if we continue with this path, I think in the future these problems won't arise for us, or these bugs we could avoid this. And time scalability is also an issue. If we are using this approach, it reduces the stamp for us. So it's a mixture of all of these things.
I think you made a very good point because a lot of time we have heard from individuals, and I've getting a lot of messages on LinkedIn as well. Like, I'm very proficient in coding. I know a lot of languages. I can write code in different languages. I can solve different problems. But when it comes to convey that solution to a hiring manager or technology manager or even to a client, they have like they shiver, and they have issues in terms of, so it's a sort of like a situation where you need to have balance of both. You need to know technical as well as you need to know how to convey or how to tell a story. Some people are good storyteller, but they're not sort of like good programmer or like not good with the coding or providing the solution. So I think you made a very good point on that part. So okay, so first step is to find the skills. Second step is to get into what you want to dive into, or go much more into deeper. So what's the third step from there?
So rest of the parts are very clear. It's just keeping your information on the resume up to date. Your full name, your phone number, your email, LinkedIn profile, and general location. All of these we all are aware about, but this is very important. A lot of people make mistakes when writing their full name or even the email address, and they just tend to ignore it and they pass on these information with the recruiter, and recruiter is trying to contact you, but you are completely unaware that the email has not even reached you at this point. So this is the key factor that you should be taking care of. Nothing on the title, your name, your addresses, and your phone number should not make any mistakes, so that you're not missing out on any opportunities that are coming your way.
That is true. So you're designing your resume for, you have spent a lot of time, and now if you have one digit wrong and the
Yeah.
call is going to someone else and the opportunity is not yours. Very
Or
good
it's
point.
probably not even reaching you, right? So
Correct.
the tried and they did not reach you, so it's just going to go to somebody else now.
That is true. That is true. So are there any platforms where, let's say, because I've heard this from a lot of my software engineer friends, that when it comes to interview, you have to go to certain platform to practice. So what are those platforms where sort of software engineers are like testing and trying what they know and how much knowledge they have?
Yeah. So first thing, I would dive into networking. This is going to help you a lot. So start your networking way before you are even started to find a job. So you don't ask for referrals immediately. You go and you dive into the forums, or the groups that are already present on LinkedIn or various websites that you can find on. And you go there, you talk to people, you support their work, you comment on their work, or you make progress. You use those strategies that they have displayed with your work that you are currently doing, and you share the results with them. That's how you network. This is the foremost thing that everybody should be remembering, basically. And once you have done that, it's easier to build communication with them along the same terms of what you have studied and what they know already about it. So this is how building communication is, building networking like this. And then going ahead and asking them for a referral, it's just so easier and seamless, right? So a lot of people forget this part, but this has really been helpful for me as well. Commenting, reaching out, and talking to them way ahead of when you start to look at a job perspective, and asking for referrals. So it's like more of giving than just taking from them. There's a random message on the LinkedIn about, hey, I'm looking for this job and you have an opening, and can you refer me? Of course, a lot of people do tend to refer you with that because everybody's helpful, but a lot of people it's just a message for them in the inbox. So this has been helpful for me. I just wanted to put that. And to answer your question about interview, yes, I have used Interview IO and Pram for mock interviews. So here you
Okay.
have engineers, principal engineers, software engineers, senior software engineers, or your peers, peer-to-peer interviewing, where you can skip the fear of not able to speak or not able to convey them your understanding of the problem, or how you see the problem or approach about the problem. I have used these two platforms, but there are of course multiple of them that you could be going on to.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, and I think I can go back to your previous point on networking, because I can resonate well there. Because when I was searching job, I'll tell you my routine. What was I doing? Every day, I used to apply jobs on LinkedIn and on different platforms. At the night, when I was watching something on Netflix or HBO Max or any portal, I'll have my phone or laptop on and I'll just network at that time. So my post 7 p.m. routine was just to add people till the time LinkedIn says you are out of your reach now. So you're done for the day, because I have no clue, honestly, who will be that one switch which I'm looking for in the dark room, and who can help me out with that one job. Because all we need is that one job, and we just have to keep on trying. So that was sort of my routine, which was helping me, because when I wake up in the morning, I at least have, let's say if I've sent out 50 requests, I at least have 10 accepted, and I can send at least 10 messages to those new people where I can start having that first message like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Can you help me out? Or if they cannot help out, at least they can recommend or point in the right direction. So, very good point of networking because a lot of time when you're coming out of college, you have no clue on in terms of like kind of role I should be applying or where would be, so what's the right company or what's the right industry I should go in. So that's come my next question is like in software engineering or like let's say computer science. When someone says computer science, it's the first role that comes to mind is software engineering because all I can think about is coding.
Yeah.
But you just mentioned about like there are different roles or like different individuals working with the background of computer science. Could you just share something more about like when you were applying, what different kind of roles you were applying, or what are the roles which can fall under computer science, just like in general?
Like I already mentioned, computer science just brings opens up a wide variety of job opportunities for you. First and foremost is looking at what focus you want to get into. It's basically like data or software engineering. Software engineering is again divided into front end and back end designing or engineering. And then there's AI now. Then you can also go into data I already mentioned. And there's also cybersecurity that you could go into, which is also a major part. So looking at that, if you want to dive into your interest, you should know what you are good at. So you should have already practiced or made sure that you have enough knowledge about one course or at least one interest that you are holding on to. So that begins from the moment you decide you want to take up masters or you have started studying. So make sure you are going ahead and doing a lot of your projects and giving yourself a lot of exposure to study other courses that are not aligned with your course as well, so that it's easier to pick your side. So if a lot of people are not good at front end designing, but they are very good at back end designing, so it's good for them to align with them. That a lot of people do take up computer science, but they like data side of it. So they are going into data engineering or data scientists and all of those roles. Same with the cybersecurity. A lot of people are interested in knowing what is going on behind back ends of the actual software that we are using, how they are actually securing the data that we keep on using every day in our life. And that's what they're interested in. How they explore all of these places is because they have done a lot of projects. And unless you let yourself explore those places, you are never going to understand these aspects of your life. That, oh no, this is what I find interesting, and this is what I should explore more, and these are the roles I should be looking at. So, this all comes down to when you begin your master's. That's when you should start exploring these sides of you rather than, just diving into blindly looking for a job and you don't know what side you have to pick into.
That is a very fair point. If you don't try, you're halfway failed over there. But if you try, you're at least you have a chance to at least either. It's not at the end of the day. It's not gonna be like completely fail, but you're gonna learn something, which is the end
Exactly.
goal. So, let me ask you this. So, a lot of people, and I'll consider myself in that lot of people, either don't know how to code or sometimes they're lazy, like me, who doesn't want to learn how to code. So, what are some sort of like roles under computer science where the coding is necessary, you should understand, but you're not using on a daily basis?
Okay. I would really, honestly speaking, I'm not aware there is a computer science side that does not have a lot of coding involved into it. I would say less or a little more than what we are doing usually, but not there's nothing that does not involve the technical part of it. But if you are not really interested into the coding languages like Java, JavaScript, Python, and all of those, I have seen a lot of people go into the BIA or the data science part of it, where they just have to query all a lot of data and they have to align the data with them. So this includes analytics in the tech world, we call, and BI is also standing for business administration, business intelligence roles that they could go into.
That's fair. So it's not sort of like end of world for someone like me who doesn't like to
Absolutely not.
code, but you can at least try something, and that's there are some roles, and data science is something which I have heard people are moving in that direction. That the
Yes.
whole world is moving towards like data is the most important part of our life now. Everywhere it's all the
Agree.
data. So
Everywhere there's data, and we need a lot of data governance, data managing, data handling, and it's a wide growing field right now, and you should be focusing on that if you are not really interested into the coding aspect of computer science.
absolutely. And again, we are moving into the world of AI, and AI is useless without any data. So, again, there is some good opportunities out there where people who are just starting out and they have no experience, or sort of like some people don't have time to learn something new, but they can still apply for these kind of roles. Just gain a little bit more experience and or knowledge and apply for these kind of
Yes,
roles.
absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Let me ask you this before we wrap it up. So, more like, what were your challenges when you were applying for uh, your job out of college? What were some challenges you faced, and what's your experience or learning out of those challenges?
It's first and foremost is most to be addressed is tough competition because computer science is such a wide range. There's a lot of people applying that are technical and non-technical to the field. All of them are applying to these fields. So it's the first and foremost, so you are diving into the pool of, literally thousands. The numbers are not small. So every job opportunity that you see on LinkedIn or any other platform, there are already like 500 or 600 people have already applied to the job application. And it's, yeah, so that has been really difficult. But to navigate that, I already gave a tip about how networking helps. To enhance a little bit on that, I will tell you one technique that I used to use when I was looking for a job. So I used this approach where I used to go in to the search bar of LinkedIn to type your position you're applying to, type hiring, the company name. So specify it to your company name you want to target, and then you click on you get those people section bars, right? You click on the people, you select the location as USA or whatever location you're based out of. And then this will show you the people like principal managers, directors, or senior software engineers that are hiring for these kind of positions that you are looking for. And that's your bet. Like, go ahead, type in your email, write a short and sweet email, right? Hey, so my name is so and so. I'm looking for these roles, and this is my skill set, or I've completed my master's in from so and so university, and then attach your resume. So, InMail gives you a good feature where you could attach your resumes to your messages, and that's it. That should be simple, easier, and short. A lot of people tend to respond to you because they are actually hiring, and
Correct.
people have posted on the LinkedIn. Directors, principal engineers, serial engineers have already posted about it. They are constantly checking their LinkedIn, and when you go ahead and give them a right direction, oh, this is my resume, I'm looking for exactly this role, this is my experience, this will definitely land you an interview. It has helped me, and I think it should benefit the others too.
Oh, that's a great way, because I think I can resonate there as well, but in a different way. I think what you just explained is something new for me, that how you search for an actual hiring person who is actively hiring, because LinkedIn does have different ways to search the right hiring manager. This green thing for open to work, purple for hiring, but this is an actual smart way that if you have a wish list of like 5, 10 companies, and you just want to have all the open opportunities and just land a job there, this is a great way. Another sort of things which actually work for me, which can resonate with this kind of technique, is as soon as I was getting the first call, I was getting a little bit more excited in searching a similar person working at the same company, just to get understanding about like the day in life of that
Okay,
individual. So
that's a
that
smart
helped
move.
me. That helped me in a way that when I have my next call with that company or that manager, I can prepare myself to ask that questions, because it can also help me to note down any challenges they may have, or just in general understand the sense of what it would look like while I'll be working at this company. So that's something which can also help you. Also, it can help you prepare that you can. If you're shy, don't be shy. First of all, you can definitely ask that question. That, hey, I have an interview with this manager, and I think he's working for this team, and I see you're also working in a similar role. What kind of advice you can give me, right? When you
Yeah,
hear a word advice, people will go above and beyond, and they will provide that advice, right?
exactly.
Because
That's
everyone likes to give
really,
one.
yeah, that's a good approach, honestly.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's really important to reach out after you have had your initial call with the hiring manager, or the manager who's taken your interview. It's always good thing to approach the similar team members, or you could end up with that similar team member probably, and they could give you a better insight on what is actually happening in the team and what they are actually looking for. And you could align your next interview with the person in the same way and your skill
exactly.
sets, and you could just go ahead with this. That's a really good approach.
Exactly. Awesome. Any other points you want to add in terms of like resume building or anything with from your learnings?
I would say rather frame your resume to reflect the adaptability and willingness to learn. Show how impactful driven you're, and show how metrics have changed when you have used certain approach, rather than just saying that I did this and this is what I bought. Just show 30% of improvement in the usability, or 40% of users got onboarded onto the website after this was done. Uh, all of these things, think beyond your day-to-day tasks, and emphasize strategies and the contributions that you have already done. Use it in a very smart way. Also, one important thing a lot of people miss in when they are applying for tech roles is they do not demonstrate their leadership approaches, which is really helpful when an organization is looking for individuals in competitive teams, or fast-paced teams where they have a lot of work and a lot of stakeholders or clients to answer. So they want somebody who's taking ownership of the task, or answering or communicating with the people and responding to them, that this is the solution we are coming up with. This is how much time we need, and this is what the approach is about. So, demonstrating your leadership skills is also important. How you changed your direction in a way when it was not going right. You changed your direction, like initiated like code interview, review interviews, or how you went ahead and this was not working for my team, so we changed the approach, and then I communicated in certain way. So this is
Yeah.
really important as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point because a resume is something which I feel like it's a story you're telling in
Exactly.
less words because a recruiter will be spending minimum 15 seconds because if they you just mentioned about like there are like thousands of people applying for the same role, so they're not going to spend more than 15-20 seconds on one resume, so you have to tell that compelling story which also gives more quantifiable information. So like not something you just mentioned like I did that or I did this impact, but what kind of impact it brought to the actual business. Did it bring more revenue? Did it help to retain that client? If it does, you're valuable to us. So refining your resume, which can tell a better story of yourself, and then wait for that first call, and then it's your ball is in your court because now you have to tell that story more in detail. That
That's
why
right.
I'm the most valuable employee. I could
Person,
be the
yeah.
most valuable person for this particular role. But yeah,
Right.
that's a great way. Sort of like that's a great advice overall.
Yeah.
Now, uh,
To add a little more,
sure.
I would just say start your job prep early. First thing is know your focus, start it early, and then, network weekly. You do not have to wait until you have finished a certain semester, or, after I get done with this semester or this course. Probably I'll be expertise in this level, and then I can start applying. Don't do that. Just go ahead and dive into it head first. Know where you are going, your direction. Networking is really important. A lot of people forget this, but start small, start somewhere. Networking is really important. Do a lot of real time projects which will give you exposure to what you have already done and what you know and what you should know. And then, it's just the game of applications and landing that one job.
That's very nice. I think that's what I wanted to hear as your final thoughts, and you just gave me that response. Is more like, don't stop networking, because that's one key thing which. So the positive thing about networking I see is like at the end of the day you're gonna make a friend for sure.
Yes.
Even if
At the
that
least,
friend
you're going to make a friend.
exactly right. And even if that individual is not able to help you out right now, it doesn't mean that other networking or the other connections will not help it. You never know which sort of like individual will be in your whole professional journey will be supportive, and sort of if you are in that stage you can also help out others and sort of in their professional journey as well. So I think networking is the key, and it can help to be more humble and help out others as well overall. So that's a very good point, Seema. Thank you so much for sharing your professional journey, sharing your experience about like how to build a proper resume, how to stand out yourself in the millions of people who are applying for a similar role, and sharing more light on why networking is the key to any professional success. So, thank you so much for the time today, and really looking forward to know more about if you are adding any more points to the resume building, and if there's any more learnings you may share in the near future. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come ahead and, talk about it so that a lot of the other people that are looking forward to could be benefited with this. It was lovely talking to you.
Yeah, really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.